What is up, everyone, and welcome back for another video. My name is Ivan, and on today's episode of Ivan's Chicano Kitchen, I'm gonna be making albondigas. Albondigas is basically like a Mexican meatball soup, as simple, like in a nutshell, and it's delicious. It's super easy to make, and it has a few vegetables in it, so it's healthy and it's super warming with the cold weather that we have going on right now. And also, I wanted to wish everybody a happy 2021. I wish everyone health and success. And with that, let's get cooking. Alrighty guys, welcome back. So the very first step is going to be for us to mix our 2 pounds of ground beef and our 1 pound of ground pork. We're going to take those and we're going to add a few things in there, and then that's going to flavor the meatball, and it's also going to flavor the broth. It's going to work both ways, and it's going to be super bomb. So we have both those things in there. So here I have granulated garlic powder. And that's about a teaspoon. We're gonna go ahead and throw that in there. We're gonna do about a teaspoon as well, or a little bit less of cumin, because cumin is kind of a strong seasoning. Here I have coriander, which is basically cilantro in the seed form that's ground up and toasted. So I have about almost 2 teaspoons of that. That goes in. And here I have nor suiza, which is chicken bouillon, and pretty much every Latin household has that in their pantry. So we're gonna go ahead and throw a nice little healthy pinch of that in there. I'm gonna call that probably a good 2 teaspoons. Tablespoons would be diabetes in a meatball. And we're gonna throw a nice little pinch of salt in there as well. Just eyeball it, a little bit of salt if you don't want a lot of salt. More salt if you like it saltier. I threw a nice little healthy pinch in there. It's also gonna help flavor the water. It's not gonna be just stay in there. It's gonna cook away and help us flavor the broth. And here I have 1 egg. We're gonna drop that in there. That's gonna help with the binding, and that's gonna help our meatballs stay together. And then here I have a little handful of fresh mint, which I pulled from our backyard. We have a few herbs back there, and chilies and stuff. So I pulled that from the backyard, washed it, make sure it's nice and clean. I got a small little piece of white onion right here that we're gonna chop up super fine, because we don't want big chunks of meatballs and big chunks of onion in our meatballs. So we're gonna chop that up super fine, and a tomato that we're gonna do the same thing with. And the carrots, I just have them here because I didn't have space on this tiny little cutting board that I have over here, where I have the rest of the ingredients. So we're gonna go ahead and chop up our mint. What you wanna do is you wanna take your mint and put it together in a bunch as tight as possible, and then start your chopping process. Put the knife on the back of your knuckle, that way you don't hurt yourselves. We're gonna chop this up super fine, and we're gonna go through with a quick montage. So you guys go ahead and chop back and watch me chop this up super duper fine. And there we have it, guys. So you guys can see it's super fine. It's super aromatic. It smells super good in here. We're gonna go ahead and drop that into our mixture as well. Just like that. We're gonna take our little onion piece over here, and we're gonna dice this guy up as fine as possible. And that one needed no speeding up because I can do that quickly. And we're gonna do the same thing with this onion, chop it up super duper fine. And then I'm gonna be adding that to our meatballs as well. There you have it, super fine. The leftover mint gets picked up, no problema in there. As all that good stuff goes in there, you get more flavor. There we go. And then, last but not least, I'm gonna do the same thing with the tomato. Cut this guy up as fine as possible. There you go. Nice and fine. It's mushy, so that'll actually just cook away. Also, don't mind the burn on my hand. I cooked myself on New Year's Eve when I was cooking. It is healing good. We have some nice wound cleanser that works really well for that. All right, so we mixed all that good stuff in there. I'm gonna put on some gloves so I can mix it up really well. And then we'll be back with that and I'll show you guys how I get that done. Alrighty guys, welcome back. And we're back for our next step, which is gonna be for us to mix our meat. I actually forgot to tell you guys the most crucial and key ingredient is for us to add a cup of rice. You can use any kind of rice. You're gonna add that in there and it's gonna cook off while it's in the water in there. So there you go. That's all the mixers in there ready to go. Now I'm gonna give it a nice mix. And what you wanna do is you wanna try not to overwork this, just mix it well. Because if you overwork it, then you start to get the fat to melt in there and it just makes a really weird and not pleasing product. So you wanna mix it very lightly. That looks really good. It smells really good. And I don't know about you guys, but I grew up having this dish. This was a staple, still is. We have this at least once or maybe twice a month, depending. During the summer, not so much. It's kind of a hot dish. So right now, during the winter, though, there you go. It is the time to do it. Nice and mixed. The rice is nicely dispersed. The herbs, the seasonings, everything is in there. So we're gonna go ahead and start actually forming our meatballs. So I'm just gonna grab a nice little handful of it, and then I'm just gonna basically just make little meatballs like that. Just like that, little tiny guys. Like that, it's gonna get a tiny bit smaller from the shrinkage from when the meat cooks. But that's about the size you want them to be. I'd say that's about a ping pong ball, you know, when you guys play beer pong out there. So we're gonna go ahead and do it about that size. I'm gonna start dropping this into the water. And then after that, we're gonna prepare our vegetables to get them going as well. So let's go ahead and do that now, and you guys are gonna watch me do that now. Let's do a little montage of that.
2,000 years later.
Alrighty guys, and we're back, and these are the last two little meatballs, and those are all done. So now we're gonna go ahead and prepare our vegetables. We're gonna let that come to a boil. What is up everyone, and welcome back. So we're gonna actually just finish cutting up our vegetables. Our meatballs are cooking away and they're almost done being cooked. You can tell that when they're ready when they start to float. That is pretty much the indicator. And you gotta just give it a little bit of time for the rice to cook, and then they're good to go. So here I have 4 small red potatoes, 4 carrots with the skin on, washed, and 2 chayotes. So this is kind of, I don't know if it's hard to find. I found it at Walmart. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. And it is kind of like a cross between a potato and kind of like a zucchini. I don't know, like the flavor of it and the texture of it. It's super delicious and it complements this dish really well. But you can put any vegetables you like, of course. So let's go ahead and cut those up and get them in the pot, and let's go ahead and do that now. You always want to try to cut vegetables or whatever it may be that you're trying to cook in equal and size. That way they cook at the same time. Those are all cooked in the same, cut at the same way, basically. Now this is kind of similar to, not anymore. So typically, I thought it had a pit. Oh, it does have a pit. It's right here. That pit is super hard. You don't want to eat that part, so that's why I cut it out in the middle. But I kind of got it a little bit of the meat of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and take that off so we can use it all. So that part is bad, and we're gonna go ahead and take these guys and cut those up at the same big chunks, just like that. And there we have it, guys. Those are all our vegetables ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and drop those into the pot. So you guys can see the steam's coming out. They're boiling. already getting that beautiful aroma. I'm getting, wow, it smells super good. You guys gotta try this at home. It's gonna warm your house up, it's gonna warm your tummy up, and it's gonna definitely make you feel good if you're not feeling well and if you're just having a regular dinner. So let's go ahead and drop these veggies. Go ahead and take a look in there. You guys can see the meatballs are floating, so that means they're basically cooked. But now the rice needs to finish cooking, so now we're gonna add our vegetables. By the time our vegetables are done, the rice will be ready, and we're gonna have a beautiful albondigas. And I'm also gonna add cilantro like 10 minutes before the end, so it doesn't kill the cilantro and it has a beautiful flavor and vibrancy still. So let's go ahead and do that. Beautiful. We'll be back in a moment, and we'll see you guys soon. And we're back, guys. So I have like a little hack that my mom taught me to kind of enhance the flavor of the broth a little bit, and it's super easy. All you do is take a tomato, chop it up, and a little bit of onion, tiny bit, and you saute that. So you take that, you put that into a skillet. There we go, guys. Go ahead. I put the tomato and the onion in the skillet. We're gonna go ahead and get that sauteed. And in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna add that to the broth, and we'll be back in a moment.
Alrighty, guys. So a little side note: I add a little bit of chicken bouillon just to flavor the broth a little bit more. Just a couple little small little pinches like that, maybe a few. So let's call it 3. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And as our albondigas look and smell, delicious. So as you guys can see. Oh, look at the meatballs. They look delicious. Can't wait for you guys to try this at home. So let's go ahead and let these veggies cook, and we'll be back in a moment for a taste test, and I'll let you guys
know what it tastes like. And welcome back, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and add that little bit of flavor enhancer to the tomato and the onion sauteed up, nice and soft. It's gonna basically dissolve in here. We're gonna go ahead and drop that in. And we're also gonna take a small handful of cilantro, and we're gonna drop that in now as well. This will be ready in another 15 minutes, and we're gonna have beautifully tender vegetables and a perfectly cooked meatball. So we'll be back in a moment, and we're gonna try the albondigas, and we'll see you guys soon. And welcome back, guys. Our albondigas are done. As you guys can come over here, you guys can see. I'm gonna open this up. The kitchen smells amazing. The house smells really great. There we go. Boiling away. Turn that boil off, and I'm gonna serve myself a nice little plate, and I'm gonna let you guys know what it tastes like. Alrighty, guys, and we're back to my favorite part, like always, because I am the eternal fatty. The tasting test. As you guys can see right here, go ahead and take a nice good look at that. I have a nice little bite over here already cooling out because it's super duper hot. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a nice squeeze of this slime. We're gonna squeeze that all over our soup. Oh my God, this juice is drier than the Sahara. There we go. A little bit on my bite. And here, I have these chilies that we grow in our backyard. They are Thai chilies, and they're super spicy, and they're super delicious though. So let's go ahead and have a nice little bite, and I'm gonna let you guys know what that tastes like. As you guys can see, the steam is still coming off of it. It's super duper hot. Wow, that is like a flavor punch. The chili, just adds a little bit of spice, but it was a little bit spicy. But this is delicious, guys. The vegetable is soft. The broth is super flavorful. The meatball is nice and light. The rice is fully cooked. And it is super warming and delicious, and it reminds me of home. And this is my mom's recipe. So I want to thank Mama Lupe, because she did basically give me the guidelines on how to make this. I've seen her make it a million times, but there's a little nuances that I didn't know, like sauteing the tomatoes and all that stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys like this recipe. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you guys would like me to make any dishes in the future. Leave a comment, please. Thank you. I have been with Ivan's Chicano Kitchen, and until next time, we'll see you guys soon. And welcome back, guys. Let's start over. Don't leave it. Let's start over. Don't erase it. Just start over. Recording? Start recording? Alrighty, guys. Let's do a thumbnail.